You spent six figures on a machine built for pure driving joy. So why do you look more stressed than happy every time you're behind the wheel? When did driving your dream car become a source of anxiety instead of excitement? Think about it. When was the last time you actually smiled while driving your Porsche? Not the forced smile when someone compliments it at a red light. Not the nervous grin when you're explaining the monthly payment to your spouse. I mean a real, genuine smile. The kind that happens when nobody's watching. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. You're not really driving that Porsche. You're managing it. You're curating it. You're protecting it. But driving it, that's the one thing you're probably not doing. And here's the thing, this isn't about you being a bad owner. This is about what Porsche ownership does to your brain. It rewires you in ways you never expected. It takes something that should be pure joy and turns it into a constant source of low-level stress. Point 1. The parking lot dance. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You pull into a parking lot and what happens? You don't just park, you perform a 10-minute reconnaissance mission. You circle the lot 3 times looking for that perfect spot. Not just any spot will do. You need the end spot with nobody on your driver's side. Or better yet, 2 empty spots so you can park diagonally. And even when you find that perfect spot, you're not done. You get out, check the distance from the curb, too close, back in, and try again. You check the cars next to you. Is that a minivan with car seats? Those doors swing wide. Is that a beat-up pickup truck? The owner clearly doesn't care about door dings. You spend more time thinking about where to park than you do actually enjoying the drive to get there. Some of you have actually skipped restaurants because the parking looked too tight. You've missed events because street parking was the only option. Think about that. Your car is literally preventing you from living your life. The irony is almost painful. You own one of the most precise, capable machines ever built. A car engineered to thread through the Nürburgring at triple-digit speeds. And you're afraid to park it between 2 Honda Civics at Target. You know what pickup truck owners do when they park? They pull in, get out, and go about their day. They use their vehicles. They live their lives. Meanwhile, you're out here playing automotive Tetris every time you need groceries. Point 2. The audience problem. Every time you drive your Porsche, you're not just driving, you're performing. Whether you admit it or not, you're constantly aware of who's watching. And trust me, people are always watching. You feel it at every red light. The guy in the Corolla next to you is sizing you up. The teenager with the clapped-out WRX wants to race. The mom in the crossover is judging your life choices. And you know what? You care. You care way more than you should. So you perform. You make your driving position look casual but confident. You check your mirrors more than necessary because it looks professional. You accelerate just enough to sound good, but not enough to seem like you're showing off. Every movement is calculated. And social media has made it worse. Now you're not just performing for the people around you, you're performing for the camera. You need the perfect angle of your car at Cars and Coffee. You need that rolling shot for your Instagram story. You need people to see that you're living the Porsche life. But here's what's really happening. You're so busy performing the role of Porsche owner that you forget to actually be a driver. You're so concerned with how it looks that you forget how it feels. The audience in your head is louder than the flat six behind you. Remember when you first test drove a Porsche? You weren't thinking about any of this. You were just feeling the way it pulled out of corners, the way the steering talked to you, the way everything just worked. That's what you're missing every single day. Point 3. The numbers game. Let's talk about the elephant in the garage, the money. Because every time you turn the key, there's a calculator running in your head. Every mile is depreciation. Every cold start wears on the engine. Every spirited drive is closer to the next expensive service. You've turned driving into accounting. You check the weather forecast, not to plan fun drives, but to avoid getting the car dirty. You know exactly how many miles you've put on this month. because you're trying to stay under some arbitrary limit you've set for yourself. You baby the car when it's cold, even though you know these engines are built to handle it. The service costs haunt you. Oil changes that cost more than most people's car payments. Tires that cost more than some people's cars. And don't even get me started on what happens if something actually breaks. So, you drive it gently, you shift early, you avoid the fun roads because they might have potholes. Some of you are doing something even worse. You're saving the car, keeping the miles low for the next owner. Think about how insane that is. You're sacrificing your enjoyment today so some stranger can have a lower mileage car tomorrow. You're basically paying to be a custodian of someone else's future toy. The math you should be doing is different. What's the cost per smile? What's the value of that perfect downshift? How much is that Sunday morning drive worth to your mental health? But instead, you're calculating depreciation per mile like this is some kind of investment strategy. Point 4. The urban cage. Here's a reality check that hurts. Your Porsche was engineered to perform at speeds that are literally illegal everywhere except a track. It was designed for perfect roads with sweeping corners and elevation changes. It was built for the Autobahn, not the daily commute. But where do you actually drive it? Stop-and-go traffic where first gear is all you need. City streets where the speed limit is 25 and there's a stop sign every block. Parking garages where you're terrified of scraping the front splitter. Your 180-mile-per-hour car spends 95% of its life under 40. It's like owning a Formula One car and only driving it in a school zone. The capability is there, screaming to be used, but the environment won't allow it. So the car becomes a monument to wasted potential. All that engineering excellence sitting idle while you crawl through another traffic jam. The engine wants to rev. It was designed to rev. That's where it makes power, where it sounds best, where everything comes alive. But you're stuck at 2,000 RPM behind a city bus. The carbon builds up. The car never gets to operating temperature. You're basically torture testing it with kindness. And the worst part, you start to resent the car. It's too low for speed bumps. It's too wide for city streets. It's too nice for street parking. The very things that make it special become daily annoyances. The car hasn't changed. The context has made it a burden instead of a joy. You see other Porsches on the road and you know they're going through the same thing. Beautiful machines reduced the expense of commuters. It's like watching racehorses pull carriages in Central Park. They can do it, but it's not what they're for. Point 5. The liberation. But here's the thing, none of this is permanent. These aren't problems with the car. They're problems with how you've let ownership change you. And unlike mechanical issues, these can be fixed for free. The liberation starts with a simple mindset shift. Stop thinking of yourself as the car's protector and start thinking of yourself as its user. The car doesn't need you to baby it. Porsches are driven hard at the track every day. They're engineered for it. The engine wants to rev. The brakes want to work. The whole system was designed for enthusiastic use. Door dings? They're going to happen whether you park carefully or not. Rock chips? Part of actually driving. Wear and tear? Evidence of a life well lived. You can either have a perfect garage queen that you're afraid to use, or you can have a Porsche with some stories to tell. Start small. Take the long way home tomorrow. Not for Instagram, not to show off, just because the road is there. Find an empty parking lot and practice really using first and second gear. Feel what the car wants to do when you let it off the leash. Book a track day. I'm serious. It will completely change your relationship with the car. When you feel what it can really do in a safe environment, you'll stop being afraid of it on the street. You'll understand that you've been using about 10% of its capability, and that's okay. Stop performing Porsche ownership and start practicing it. That means parking like a normal person sometimes. That means driving it in the rain. That means putting miles on it because miles mean experiences. And experiences are why you bought the damn thing in the first place. The most successful Porsche owners I know have one thing in common. They use their cars. Really use them. Their cars have rock chips and door dings and worn driver's seats. And you know what else they have? Stories. Real stories about perfect mornings on perfect roads. About track days that changed their perspective. About drives that reminded them why they fell in love with cars in the first place. Your Porsche isn't an investment. It's not a status symbol. It's not a museum piece. It's a machine designed to create joy through motion. And every day you don't use it for that purpose is a day you're betraying both the car and yourself. So here's your homework. Go drive it right now. Don't check the weather. Don't plan the perfect route. Don't worry about where you'll park. Just go. Feel what it wants to do. Remember why you wanted it in the first place. Because at the end of your life, you're not going to remember the days it stayed clean in the garage. You're going to remember the days you drove it like it deserved. Like you deserved. The car is ready. The only question is, are you?